It was back in April of this year when I eventually made the decision to do something that I'd been pondering for some time, and that is to sell our Triumph 400X Scrambler in favour of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450.
Hey, Walks here. Thanks very much for joining me. We'd only had the Triumph for 10 months. We'd been a lot of places on it. We liked it. So this understandably prompted a lot of people to ask the question, what was wrong with it? Is the Himalayan a better bike? I am not going to try and say which is the better bike because I don't think either one is better than the other. They're different and they suit different purposes. For us, the Royal Enfield 450 Himalayan is the better choice. And I'm now going to try and explain why. So if you're thinking about one of these bikes, if you ride off-road, if you travel to up, you might find this interesting, in which case, grab a drink and stay with me.
I have no intention for this to be a review of either the Triumph or the Royal Enfield. There's plenty of great reviews out there already, and there's people that are much better at making reviews than I am. But what I can do is I can explain how I ride in Thailand, what my requirements from a bike are, and how I found both bikes in this respect. And just maybe you'll find this interesting. So the sort of riding that I like to do, the sort of riding I've always liked to do, is meandering on small back roads, on byways, and heading off on the gravel roads and the dirt roads that are abundant in Thailand. When we decided to get a motorbike during the time of COVID, we decided that the best bike for us was Honda's 300 Rally. It's a bike that I could take up into the dirt hills around where we live, and the two of us could jump on and we could go to the south of Thailand, or we could go to Lao with luggage, and we could have a month or 2 months just traveling on it. Proved to be a pretty good bike for this. It was great up on the dirt roads, and when we got on it with minimal luggage, it was ideal. But it was a little bit cramped at the back. Echo never complained. She's not the tallest girl in the world. And the two of us together weigh maybe 130 kilos, so we weren't really weighing it down. We had some throw-over panniers. I think they're Enduristan Blizzard panniers. And with those and a roll bag on the back, it was enough for us to go off and have a month travelling. I was also aware that it wasn't the most comfortable perch for Echo at the back, and if we wanted to take a few little luxuries, well, our luggage capacity wasn't up to it. And so it had been in the back of my mind for some time to upgrade, to get something with a bit more power, a little bit more comfort, and something with a bit more luggage carrying capacity. But it also needed to be a bike that would take either me alone or the two of us onto the dirt roads, because, well, let's face it, if we're on a trip, we see an interesting looking byway or gravel road or dirt track veering off to the left or right, we're probably going to take it. And then came Triumph's release of their new 400s. And that 400 Scrambler, wow, it was so stylish. And when I realised it was made in Thailand, so we had no import duty, very little VAT, the thing was just over £4,000 sterling. It was a bargain. How could I not have it? And so what did I do? I convinced myself that it was an off-road bike. It got the Scrambler looks, and I thought, well, I'm not a brilliant off-road rider, and I'm sure it'll be fine for what I want. There's no doubt there was plenty more room on there, and there was loads of room for Echo on the back. But I was somewhat worried about the luggage carrying capacity. The area below the saddle to either side of the back wheel is very open. I was a little bit worried the throw-over panniers could swing in there and possibly get tangled up with the back wheel. The upswept exhaust came up quite a long way as well, and I was worried that the panniers that we got might touch the exhaust. But then I convinced myself that, hey, come on, it will be fine. Get the bike, you'll get some luggage on there, it'll work. So we got the Triumph. It's beautiful. It's a lovely engine. I really enjoyed riding around on it. Echo was comfortable on the back. Sure, there's plenty of space. That was no problem. But the luggage was an issue. That was the first problem. I tried putting the Enduristan Blizzard panniers on the back. And sure, Nathan the Postman, who's got a fantastic YouTube channel, he used very similar panniers on his, and he seemed to get away with it, but I just wasn't particularly happy with that setup. And besides, if I used those panniers, I'd really got no more luggage carrying capacity than we had on 300 Rally, so I'd not achieved a tremendous amount. I did plenty of research trying to find ways to carry more luggage on the Triumph, but I didn't really get anywhere. There are luggage racks and you can put racks on and you can put panniers, but as soon as you put racks on the Triumph, you've kind of destroyed the style to my mind. It's got that cool stripped back Scrambler styling. It's not a bike that looks right with racks. Now, if you don't care about the styling, it doesn't matter, does it? But to me, there wasn't much point in having the Triumph if you were going to make it look, well, ugly. But that wasn't the biggest problem for me with the Triumph. The biggest problem was, and it's probably quite obvious to anybody listening to this, it's not an off-road bike. I thought it would work okay on the dirt, and sure, on smooth gravel, it's fine. It was a nice bike to ride on smooth gravel. But as soon as you got some rough sections, you got potholes, you got ruts, anything like that, it just didn't work. That's not what it was for. And when you're exploring the dirt roads, you might have a lovely, perfect road, and then when you get a climb here, it suddenly gets steep, and it does get rutted, and it does get rough, and you don't want to have to keep turning back. It was also very jarring for Echo on the back when we went on dirt roads, because the suspension, it just isn't plush when it comes to bumpy roads, even sealed roads with bumps. It's just not an off-road bike. And then back in February, my best mate from the UK, Mr. Harding, he came out and we decided we're going to go to Lao. He took our Honda Rally and I took the Triumph. And what I was really hoping for was this was going to be the journey that made it. We were going to go to Lao, I was going to have the Triumph there. It was going to prove to be super on the dirt roads there and on the rough roads. And sitting there outside the room, having a beer, looking at the Triumph, covered in dust, looking like an adventurous machine, that would be it. I would fall in love with it and I'd go back very, very happy with my machine. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. We had a great trip, but even the rough sealed roads, or perhaps especially the rough sealed roads in Lao, proved too much for the Triumph. The suspension, I won't say it couldn't cope with it, it coped with it, it did the job, but it wasn't comfortable. I had to keep dodging rough bits, and it jarred me, it jolted me. It just wasn't right. And I was so envious of Hardy behind me on the Rally with the plush suspension soaking up all the bumps. And so the decision was made then, when I get back, I think it's time to change to a Royal Enfield 450 Himalayan. The 450 Himalayan really is the bike I should have got in the first place. It's a capable off-road machine. It's bigger than the Honda Rally. It's more comfortable than the Honda Rally. The suspension is, well, I think it's super impressive, particularly for the price. Putting racks on the back, I don't think detracts from the style of it. It is an adventure bike, and I think the racks just suit it well. I got some panniers made by Simad, which is a company based just outside Bangkok in Thailand. I'll put a link in the description below. Those panniers are fantastic. And with a bag on the back and those panniers, we can get all the luggage that we want. Anything more would be ridiculous to take with us. Echo's super comfortable on the back. One of the only real issues she had with the comfort of the Triumph on the back was on the very steep hills that we've got in Thailand, particularly the downhills, which can be 30%. So you're braking, it's a steep downhill, and the saddle on the Triumph is very smooth, very slippery. And she would find it difficult actually not to just roll into the back of me. But on the Himalayan, it's got a textured saddle. So even that little detail means that she feels perfectly comfortable now, uphill, down dale, whatever. The rain season has come early this year in Thailand, so I've not tried the Himalayan on the dirt roads as much as I would like to. But on the bits of off-road that I have done, I've been thoroughly impressed. Harding, he from the Lao trip, was back over again in May. And the first thing we did was decided to ride down to the coast. So again, he hopped on the Rally, I got an Himalayan, and off we went. And as is our wont when we're on such a trip, we would look for some dirt roads. And there were several occasions. There was one time where we stopped and we're following this dirt track, and then it dropped down into a dry, if I said riverbed, that might be bigging it up, but down into a dry stream. And as it started to come up to the left, it quickly turned to the right, up, across the bank and left again. And I said, yeah, I think we can do that. And he was thinking, I don't know about this. Anyway, we went through and we were both amazed at just how well it coped with it. So everything that I've pointed at so far on the dirt, it's been fine. And the dirt roads, the gravel roads, And with echo on the back, fine. There's none of the jolting and banging and crashing there was on the Triumph. This Royal Enfield 450 Himalayan is, to my mind, a proper mid-weight adventure bike. Performance-wise, the two bikes are similar. I think if I was really pushed to say which engine I prefer the characteristics of, I think I'd have to say the Triumph. They're both fine, but the Triumph, it's got this engine, it seems to have got plenty of low-down power. And then just when you sort of think it's plateaued, it's got like a second power band and it takes off again. It really goes well. The Himalayan doesn't have that initial low down grunt that the Triumph's got. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't have that But it does take off, and I think that the straight line performance of the two of them is going to be very similar. Talking of on-road performance, here is what to me was the biggest surprise, is the handling. I would say that the Himalayan is a better handling road bike than the Triumph 400 Scrambler. Now, that's probably going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me, and sure, the Scrambler looks more of a road bike. It's got the smaller front wheel, it's got shorter travel suspension, but I really like the handling on the road of that 450 Himalayan. And when you've got roads, Thailand's roads, some of the roads are absolutely fantastic, as good as anywhere in the world. They are racetrack smooth. But then you can be on a racetrack smooth road and suddenly it becomes a gravel road. And then it becomes a rutted road or a potholed road. There's everything here. And for those bumpier, rougher sections that can crop up anywhere if you're exploring away from the highways, then that's a big advantage again with the Himalayan. So I think to sum up, if you want a cool, stylish bike and your riding is all on road and you're not going to be taking luggage more really than a bag that you can put on the back and go away for a few days. Two people can carry all their luggage in on the back. That's no problem. If that's your kind of riding and you like the cool styling of the Triumph, go for it. It's a great bike. But if you're wanting to explore, if you want to explore the road less travelled, if you want to just go and see what's over that hill, regardless of the surface of the track or trail that takes you there, then the bike I think you should really be looking for is the Himalayan 450. If you've tried the two bikes, I expect you'll have an opinion and thoughts, and you might think I'm talking a load of old twaddle. People generally do, actually. So it might help other people that are watching this if you just let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And if you did like this, if you found it useful, maybe you could give me a thumbs up, because I don't really know what it does, but everyone else says it. And hopefully I'll see you again next week. Bye.